Now, I know a lot of you don't care about the media, and a lot of you hate it. Very few people love it. That's for sure. You know, you're walking around, oh, I love the media. No. Maybe the local weatherman or sportscaster or something, but the media has really destroyed itself, hating Trump. It's a very simple equation. But what's very striking about what's happening now, and we're going to start off with Howard Stern, is that this is self-imposed. Yeah, Trump doesn't like the media, and he goes out of his way to, sue it and browbeat it and diminish it. Yeah. But if the media were fair and had a lot of allies, that wouldn't work. So Howard Stern and I go back to Boston University in the 1970s. And we're at the School of Communication, COM, at the same time. And I didn't know him socially. I was a master's degree student. He was an undergrad. But I knew him because he was the only guy in the school taller than me. And he had this fro. And he'd walk around and, but he and I didn't really cross paths there very much. I was on the newspaper. He did a little radio work, that kind of thing. But we were both terriers. That's Boston University Terriers. He was also brought up on Long Island, as was I. I was in Levittown. He was in, I think, the South Shore. Kind of a tough neighborhood. And Howard was roughed up and had as he describes himself, a pretty tough childhood. And he became, along with Rush Limbaugh, the biggest radio stars in the history of this country. Dwarf everybody. There's nobody close to Stern and Limbaugh about success, money generated. And they did it by being bombastic, both of them. Different styles. Stern was a satirist, and Limbaugh was a activist, conservative activist. Different styles. But they both appealed to the working person. The person listening to the radio in a car, commuting into work or whatever. Both guys had appeal in those areas. Okay? So Howard Stern was basically very entertaining. And that's why he succeeded. Where a guy like Al Franken, who tried to do radio, Air America, he was boring, not entertaining, a doofus, whatever you want to say, and he failed dismally. Stern was funny. And he poked power, poked power, poked power. Limbaugh poked left-wing power, not right-wing power. Stern poked everybody. But you could tell that Stern was on the side of the working people and against the elitists, the wealthy. That changed, okay? And he became a Hillary Clinton supporter. Donald Trump was on his show a lot, and I guess they were friendly at one time. And he turned against Trump, Stern did, and a lot of people went, whoa! And he said bad things about me, Howard Stern. He said, oh, I don't even know this O'Reilly. Was he turning around and telling everybody we went to college? And okay, a lot of people don't want to own up to knowing me, I understand. But it got to the point where it was just not true. So I did an interview with him on December 8, 2005, which I used on my current television broadcast, the No Spin News. Roll that.
We're both raised in working class families on Long Island, okay? Right. Stern and O'Reilly. We both wind up at Boston University at the same time.
That's right.
We're terriers together, okay? We both reached the top of our professions. 10 million in one shot for me.
800 billion in one shot to me.
And we had a nice conversation about it. But now his ratings on Sirius have gone into decline, and it's not hard to figure out why. So when you go against the MAGA hordes, millions and millions, almost 80 million people voted for Donald Trump? Big audience to alienate. And you're hanging around with the swells, Jennifer Aniston, these people. Ooh. So I'm pretty consistent. I go for working people. I always have. I don't, strut around like I'm some big shot hanging around, even though I know all the famous people. And my audience has stayed with me, but Stearns has not. And it's because of his leftist movement. He went left. And there aren't enough of them. Not enough progressives. And that's what happened to him. Homeowners, when is the last time you checked on your home title? If your answer is never, then this is for you. Scammers are stealing titles, and your equity is a target. Criminals forge your signature. Just like that, your home title can be transferred out of your name. That's why I partnered up with Home Title Lock, so you can find out today if you're already a victim. Please use my promo code BILL at HometitleLock.com, and you'll get a free title history report. Plus, you will get a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alerts of any changes, and if fraud does happen, they'll spend up to $1 million to fix it. That's HometitleLock.com, promo code BILL. Now, there was another interview that backs up this theory that if you go ideological, it's bad for business. So the Washington Post, I got into journalism because of Woodward and Bernstein and Watergate. I was just enthralled by that. And that's why I got into being a reporter. Now, the Washington Post is a left-wing magazine, and it has lost an enormous amount of readership. The stats are unbelievable. So it's a 61% decline in subscriptions, print subscriptions, in 4 years because they hate Trump. And that was the subject of their fact checker going on a podcast. Roll it.
There was a lot of effort to produce a story that would look very carefully at what seemed to be a cognitive decline. It never came together because we couldn't get enough people on the record.
Glenn, do you know the moment where Joe Biden spoke to a dead congresswoman at a public event? Are you familiar with that moment?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what kind of sourcing did you need to say Joe Biden was suffering cognitive decline? Did you see him trailing off regularly? What kind of sourcing was needed?
I can't get too deep in the weeds of what happened at my former news.
But you weren't in all the meetings, but you read the coverage. You read the coverage.
I'm telling you, there was a lot of effort to produce the story, that you are asking for, and it didn't come together.
Embarrassing. Man won't tell the truth. Everybody in the Washington Post newsroom, including him, knew that Biden was in decline and couldn't run the country. Everybody. And he's the fact checker? Oh, we need sources about that. We need sources. Okay. So that kind of deceit is not good business. You're not going to make money throwing that kind of garbage, gibberish out there. Jeez, just admit it. You hated Trump. The Post wanted the Democrat to win and didn't care who the Democrat was. Just admit it. Maybe have some respect. It's unbelievable. And just so you know, this went to the highest levels. Bob Woodward, I just mentioned the Watergate guy, he's written 5 anti-Trump books. And Trump cooperated with him on, so I said to the president, why? You know that Woodward is going in to cut your throat. Why are you talking to him? Why are you giving him ammo? He goes, I think I can persuade him. I said, look, he's got to put a book proposal forth to get the money, the advance money. He's got to tell the publisher, I'm going to get Trump on X, Y, and Z. He's not going in saying, I'll be fair. It's not how you get book contracts. You don't have to be unfair, but you got to tell him what you're going to do. Here's Woodward. Go.
What do you think Trump's end goal is in all of this? In the sledgehammering the government, putting tariffs on our allies like Canada? Like, what is the What is his big end goal as president?
Well, his end goal is, and it looks like he wants to destroy the economy. And that is a very dangerous undertaking.
Yeah, so Trump wants to destroy the economy. He gets elected, he goes, you know what? First thing I'm going to do is destroy the American economy. Why? Why would he do that? He wants to go down in history as one of the great presidents. So this is just, you talk about dementia, okay? When the press gets dementia, it loses everything. It does. You can't sell a product that is that flawed. You can't sell French fries if they taste like liver. And Stern had an audience, a big audience, turned way away from it, didn't explain it. And then Bob Woodward in the Washington Post, oh yeah, Trump wants to destroy the economy. Come on. Are you 8 years old? You know, I give credit to the American people. When you see a phony, you know a phony. When you see a bad product, you walk away. And that's exactly what has happened with the American media. I'm Bill O'Reilly. We hope you go to BillO'Reilly.com. My new book, Confronting Evil, out September 9th. You'll like it. You can pre-order it, and we'll give you stuff if you do on the website. Thanks for listening. We'll see you soon.